You may know Liam Neeson from all of his action movies, but can he sustain an entire comedy series? Let's find out. Spoiler free.
This is Popcorn for Breakfast, presented by St. Louis Area Smoothie Kings. Now, here are your hosts, Cam and Kurt.
Welcome back, everyone, here at Popcorn for Breakfast, the spoiler-free movie review podcast. We're so glad you're here today as we review The Naked Gun. Can we say that on the audio cam?
We can. I checked.
Okay.
I didn't check. But yeah, you can. It's a podcast. You can say whatever you want.
Whatever I want?
It's true. There's no FCC here.
Well,
and I don't know, like the YouTube rules, they can demonetize you, but they can't. They don't take your video down. But we're not making money anyway. So
I would like them to pro-monetize us.
Yeah, try it. Try to demonetize us. You can't demonetize someone who's not monetized. So
that'd be hilarious. It's really great. I often think of what if we one day become monetized and they like just turn on everything, and then they start to look at our content and they shut it all down like immediately. Like they fooled us, and this is a disaster.
They're like, wow, this is really bad. This is a terrible show. We can't put our name on this.
No. They delete all of our videos, all 400 episodes.
Some of them I would be happy to see gone.
Really?
There's some that I consider like, maybe I should just delete this. I won't say what they are because then people will go look for them. But
oh, no.
Everybody has bad episodes. We have a lot. Everybody has a lot.
We don't have a lot of bad episodes.
If you make, it's just the thing. Like, even like really big channels have bad episodes. So, I mean, yeah.
That's true.
They're out there.
I often listen to Mr. Conan O'Brien, and I will guarantee you he is funny every time, but sometimes his guests, they don't match his energy.
Yeah, you can get bad guests. Mm-hmm. Lots of interview podcasts have bad guests because some people are just bad interviews.
Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I think about us where we don't have that many guests. So
sometimes we're just bad. So yeah, it happens.
No guests needed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, let's chat about maybe one of the funniest movies of the year, or posed to be. It's a reboot of a series of a TV show. I didn't realize that it was a TV show.
Yeah, Police Squad.
Yes, and the incredible Leslie Nielsen, who is the star of these films, passed away much too soon, many years ago. But we have a reboot now with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson as our two leads. Cam, did you get a chance to watch all three of the Naked Gun movies?
I've never seen the third one, and I had every intention of watching it whenever I rewatched these films, but I ran out of time. So I watched the first two, which I had already seen tons of times, and still didn't see the third one. But I did I kind of read the tea leaves online about the third one. It seems like maybe people don't like that one quite as much, so I don't know that I'm missing out. I plan to watch it, but no, I've only seen the first two.
Yeah, I think it's good to watch it so you have the full experience. Yeah. But I mean, that one's you're not going to rewatch. 1 and 2 you're going to keep playing over and over and over again. The structure is just so great, and we're going to talk about all the nitty-gritty details about The Naked Gun. It's really funny when movies have the at the front.
Yeah.
So when you call them, you really have to say their article still.
I know.
You can't drop it.
It's under my skin. You can't drop the. You have to have it. It's especially funny here because I think the title of the first movie is like The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad or something like that. So
yes.
They were able to use the Naked Gun without it being one of these situations where the requel is named the same thing. Like Scream was named Scream.
Yes.
So it's for the best.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of play that the writers had when they're like, should we just call it The Naked Gun? Does it need a tag? So hopefully we can tell you all the awesome fun stuff later on social media. Check it out. We like to drop trivia sometimes on movies, but mostly we'll probably just be really silly. So let's get started with what we do every single week. Every single episode we chat through different awards. We start with And the Oscar Goes To. That's our best actor for the film. We then move on to Scene Stealer, Best Supporting Actor. We talk about the showstopper. It's a moment that stopped you in your tracks and you said, wow, I've got to talk about that. Followed up by Director's Shoes, where we slip into the shoes of the director and say what we would have changed, what we would have liked to be different about this film. And finally, with Last Looks, we give our final thoughts and score about this entire thing. And one really fun thing that we began. Thank you.
There you go. I got you.
Maybe around episode 150, who knows, is that we cannot choose the same thing for each of our awards. So Cam, you get the luxury of kicking us off tonight with And the Oscar Goes To.
Yeah, easy one for me. I'm going with Liam Neeson, not to be confused with Leslie Nielsen, which I think was probably part of the thought process here as they were looking into this. I know that Liam Neeson has been rumored to be in a Naked Gun sequel for a long time, like for many years. It's one of those things. You know how some projects just kind of float around in the ether forever, and sometimes they just never come to be. This one finally did. I think originally he was meant to be in one with Leslie Nielsen when Leslie Nielsen was older, which would have been really cool if they could have pulled that off. But here he is. Sometimes these things just come back around, and here we are in the year of 2025 with the Naked Gun movie, and I'm shocked that we have one. To be honest, like, it's great. I think it's awesome that a project like this could get funded. I think a lot of the target audience for this movie is like our age or older, probably skews a little bit older than us in general. So it is surprising to see a movie like this get greenlit, but I think it's great. And I think that Liam Neeson is an all-time casting choice for this. I mean, it's so perfect because if you're going to parody modern action films or police films or really it's action in general. When you think about Police Squad, Liam Neeson is the perfect candidate. I mean, he has done everything in the action genre, from like real prestige action films that are well revered to super cringy, like over the top, terrible action movies. And so for him to be put in this role, he has a perfect chance to really just kind of like make fun of himself in a lot of ways. And he seizes that to the fullest extent. I think he's really funny in this movie. I think a lot of people don't know that he has comedic chops, but I've known at least since the Lego movie when he plays Bad Cop, which is like one of my favorite characters in that whole movie, that he has excellent timing. He has excellent control of, his tone and the way that he can generate different inflections to help drive home a comedic point. He's got this like, what's his accent? Is it Scottish or is he of Irish descent? I always get those two confused.
Well, I should know, especially if he is Scottish, Irish, but I think he is a little Scottish.
I thought it was Scottish, but anyway.
Oh, it's Northern Ireland. How dare I?
Northern Ireland, okay.
We could be related, him and I.
I always get those two confused, but he sometimes pitches his voice up to have this high-pitched kind of Irish accent that he'll just kind of let slip through here and there, because in this he is an American police detective who is the son of an American police detective, the original Frank Drebin. He's Frank Drebin Jr., so he doesn't do a lot of the Irish, but you can just kind of hear it a little bit here and there. I think it adds to the hilarity of the whole thing, and just totally understood the assignment on all fronts, had a great time with it, knew when to like lower his voice and kind of smolder and joke around in parody form, but then also when to just drive home a ridiculous punchline. And the physical acting, which is always a big part of Leslie Nielsen's role as Frank Drebin, was on full display as well. So I think it's a great casting choice on paper, and on screen it actually panned out just as well as I thought it would.
He's so good. I think it's because he is such a good dramatic actor that he was able to continue the focus of how serious this world is, like, to him.
Yeah.
Even though it's absolutely bonkers and off the wall and things are upside down and things are happening that shouldn't be happening. And
he can just flip the switch.
He's just able to flip the switch. Liam Neeson, I really hope maybe I am related to him somehow. In
you never know. It's a small island.
Heritage. That's right. I got to go back there. And by back there, I mean there for the
first time ever.
I've never been there. So that is difficult because he's the only choice for the best actor. There's no one else that should get it. But if I have to pivot off of that, I must go with Paul Walter Hauser.
Dang it.
For me. Oh, was that going to be your scene stealer?
Obviously.
Yeah. Oh, bummer. Paul Walter Hauser, just a couple of clips. You've seen him most recently in Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four First Steps.
There it is.
Black Klansman, Richard Jewell, I, Tonya. He is in so many movies that you probably don't even know out there, listeners. I forget that he's in these movies too, but he's so good. So he takes on the role of Frank Drebin's kind of captain, but not like the total boss. They kind of share responsibilities. Well, he's the son of Ed from the original series, and that's another funny point about this movie is that they show that in the trailer that they have the same names of their fathers. No junior. They're just the same
just
name.
The same. Yeah, exactly.
So I love that. Just especially, he brings this wonderful balance of stupidity, but a little bit of guidance, a little bit of dad energy to his lines. He's always concerned about Frank, Liam Neeson's character, to make sure that he's not getting into too much trouble. So I would have liked his character to be amped up a little more. It gets a little drowned out in the plot of this movie.
Absolutely.
There's not a lot of room for him, but when there is room for him, he kills it. I mean, his entrance alone had me cackling immediately. So he really finds those ways to live in this world of the Naked Gun, and just he'll surprise you for sure.
People throw around the word underrated a lot when they're talking about actors, or really when they're talking about anything. They'll say this thing is that underrated, or that person is underrated. Paul Walter Hauser really is underrated. He truly is not appropriately rated in this industry. As a dramatic actor, as a comedic actor. He's got a ton of range. Watch the show Blackbird on Apple TV Plus if you have not, for an unbelievable performance top to bottom. And that's only one small bit of what he can display. He was absolutely going to be my pick, even though in the same way that he's underrated in the industry, he was woefully underutilized in this movie, and I wanted more because I just felt like he had so much more to give.
Yeah,
so,
I see what you did there. I chose him as my best actor, but you were going to try to put him as scene stealer king.
Well, because I got to go first, so you're going to tell me that if you went first, you wouldn't have chosen Liam Neeson? Because that's a lie.
The world will never know.
No, liar. Okay, but it does leave me with a super easy scene stealer, which is going to be Pamela Anderson of Baywatch fame, who, of course, is in the midst of a bit of a career renaissance here. I mean, I don't know if you would call it a renaissance or what you would call it, but recently minted Golden Globe nominee for her performance in The Last Showgirl, and has taken a dramatic turn in some more recent productions. Following in the mammoth footsteps of Priscilla Presley as Jane in the original Naked Gun franchise, she perfectly fits the mold for what is needed, and her banter with Liam Neeson was hilarious to watch. I was pretty surprised by how easily she was able to get into a comedic mindset and do all of these fun gags. They have her do some pretty ridiculous gags, and she just fully committed, and you could tell that a lot of times she was just like trying stuff and it worked, and she just leaned into it as far as she possibly could. So I really liked that from her. I liked this character overall. Her character's name is Beth Davenport, and she sort of stumbles into Frank's world in a way that's different from the way that Jane did, but it is really appropriate for this movie and interesting for this movie. And I really liked it. I thought she was excellent.
Yeah, it's always telling. You can be with someone who's locked in and who knows the layout and knows the intricacies of the movie. So you're with Liam Neeson. He's he's driving this ship. And then there are some moments where she gets to be spotlighted, and she kills it. Yeah. She does.
Yeah, I think in parody, I think people think that parody, or you might think that parody would be easy to do, and it's not. I think it's very difficult to strike the right tone, and you have to be willing to work through some stuff, be vulnerable, try things until you strike the right tone for it. And I felt like there were very few, if any, moments where I felt like, oh, she missed the mark there.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. My scene stealer is going to go to someone who I didn't think I was going to pick, but he surprised me. And I promise you, I will likely, I don't think anyone could name this guy off the street, but you can definitely point at him and be like, I've seen him. He's been a bad guy. He's been a henchman. I'm going to go with Mr. Kevin Durand. This man is like 7 feet tall. He is always a bad guy in anything that he does. He was a bad guy in his episode of 11 episodes of Lost, rather. He was Little John, ironically, in the Russell Crowe Robin Hood film. He's been in the failed X-Men's Origins Wolverine movie. There's just something about him, and specifically putting him with bleach blonde or bleach gray in this particular film that shows off even how all the features of his face are just like so angular, and so he had to be a bad guy, and he was ridiculous looking, and I loved it so much. There was just this air of a classic bad guy with him, and the dumbness, but also like the surprisingly smart moments that he has as well. They really captured this world, because you have Frank Drebin, so Liam Neeson in this case, who is a goofball, just an idiot. He's not self-aware of anything he's doing. And then all of a sudden, when it comes time to lock in, Liam Neeson is like this incredible fighter, just like Leslie Nielsen's character. Like, he's actually good at what he does. Just a few things though. And so this guy being a bad guy, he's really good at being a bad guy when it's time to be a bad guy. So even though he wasn't the main villain of this film, he was the top henchman, and there were some character foils. There were some good counters that they had, and I really liked that. And in this particular case, Liam Neeson is also like 6'7". He's a very tall man. So seeing them go eye to eye and toe to toe with each other was really fun. In the cinematography. Well, I can't speak tonight. I'm just fumbling over all my words.
That's all right. Kevin Durand, as soon as you said that name, I was like, man, that sounds familiar. We did War for the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Is that what it's called? No.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
It's more than that, isn't it?
Kingdom. I'm looking at it
it's
right
just
now.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Okay. We did that movie, and he played Proximus Caesar in that movie.
Yes.
And I think you or I or one of us talked about him, and that was obviously he's in mocap and he's an ape, so it's easy to say that it's a transformative performance, but I would have never guessed, because I have seen him in some roles before that I've been like, again, they're projects where it's like they're not the best written projects or things like that, so you can't really tell how good he is. He feels very cliche, but I agree that he was the right choice for this one.
Beautiful. Let's move on to our next category. Cam, you've got your showstopper. Tell us what stopped you in your tracks.
Yeah, I think for me it was the ways in which they parodied modern action films and modern like suspense dramas in a way that I really was looking for from this movie. I think whenever you do something like a sequel or a legacy sequel that's so far removed from its predecessor, there feels like there has to be a need to justify why you're doing it. It's less so the case in this instance, because it's a comedy and it's The Naked Gun. So you can just do it and everybody's like, great, more comedy. This is great. And there's not a lot of true comedies being released right now. There's certainly not a lot of parody films being released, but there was still one thing that I wanted them to show me to justify this movie, and it was how they would make fun of modern action type movies. And they do this in a ton of ways. First of all, with the score from Lauren Balfe, who has this great like like the very like anxiety inducing, almost like Christopher Nolan Batman series type score that you come to associate with modern action films and heist films and things like that. There was a little bit of like Michael Mann cinematography that they were parodying a little bit. And I loved that. I felt like it was necessary because if you go back and watch those original Naked Gun movies, I mean, they don't feel like anything but a straight comedy. And if you're going to do a parody film now, there has to be a little bit more attention to detail, because movies have become a little bit more detailed in their stylings as the art form has evolved. So I really, really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed how they just sort of poked fun at modern society with some theming around like, masculinity and what has become of that, and what it means to be like a tough guy in this environment. There's some interesting, funny quips and stuff like that and the sort of whole arc of the movie builds off of that. So I really like the ways that they made the movie relevant by referencing modern works and referencing what's happening in our society versus just like throwing all of that to the wayside, looking at the original Naked Gun movies and being like, all right, well, let's do a Naked Gun movie. They really actually thought about why are we doing this now and what can we incorporate that would be different from those original movies.
I like that a lot. I've got two showstoppers.
Okay. That's against the rules, but sure.
I break the rules all the time. My first one is the jokes per minute as a showstopper, because this is something that the MCU can no longer do. when they try to throw in a bunch of jokes, like Thunderbolts, they try to jam in a bunch of jokes just to keep things lighthearted. But obviously it's a different genre, different movie, right? But then with this, when you're walking into make me laugh is what this whole setup is for this movie. Like, I dare you to make me laugh. You're not going to crack this egg right here, right? They nail it. There is not a moment, not a beat that goes by without some sort of joke. And think of the jokes on a scale of like 1 to 10. Not every joke can be a 10. You have to have setups. You have to have outlandish surprise jokes. And those vary all across that spectrum there. The jokes per minute were absolutely impeccable. And I don't know that I stopped laughing, honestly. It was really great. And then the other thing, there's a sequence that's very specific that I can't get into, but I just have to call it out to document it. There is a sequence where Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson go on an adventure, literally just the two of them. And when it started, I thought, how long is this little getaway from the main story going to be? And it was so magnificent. It was my absolute favorite part of the movie. That I was absolutely cackling and crying out of laughter.
Yeah, I know immediately just from you saying that exactly what bit you're talking about, and multiple people that I overheard on the way out of the theater were talking about the same bit. It's just like pure genius, something that like you would never think of it on your own, and even if somebody explained it to you, you would think that doesn't sound funny at all. But when you see it executed, you go, wow, how did they come up with this? This is so good.
Yes.
Like, for them to have the confidence to commit to it is like incredible and exactly what you want to see from a movie like this.
I think it'll be a lot of people's favorite moment,
no doubt,
from this movie, because it's just it's perfect.
It's that thing that I feel like Naked Gun movies are always at their best, or really any parody movie is at their best when jokes have setups, right? So a lot of times you're anticipating an outcome from a joke, and sometimes you get caught off guard, and that's great. Those are great jokes too. But a lot of times jokes rely on the setup. They want your anticipation. They want to bait you. But what's even better is when they give you a setup, they give you the payoff, and then they double down on the payoff.
Yes.
And they're just like, what if we took this not just 2 steps further, but maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps further, and let's see how far we can take it.
I'm just laughing thinking about.
And there were a couple moments in this movie where they did that really well.
They did. They really did. Yeah, the moments that I wasn't laughing, it's because while we were in the theater, was because I was getting ready to just cackle. I was watching it. I was like, yes, do that, and they kept layering it up, and it was so wonderful. It was so wonderful. So now's the part of the movie where we say bad things.
Yeah.
Absolutely just trash this movie. For our director's shoes, Cam, what do you have?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really simple, so I'm going to keep it short. The laughs are front loaded in this movie majorly for me. So the runtime, hour 30 or hour 25, exactly what you would expect from a Naked Gun movie, exactly what you would expect from a pure comedy movie. That last 30 to 25 minutes, it's like a decrescendo. You really want any movie to sort of like crescendo, and for a comedy, you want the bits to get more outlandish, more ridiculous, more hilarious, and to have a bunch of payoffs kind of happen in that latter bit. And I didn't feel like that was the case with this movie. I felt like, and this has happened to me with a couple of Naked Gun movies that I've watched, where it's like I find it really, really funny for the first hour, and then I'm just like, okay, they're unable to make me laugh at the end because they're trying new bits that aren't landing. They're mixed. The balance is a little bit off to where they're having to give too much plot to wrap things up, and they're not getting as many laughs in. There were still great bits in that last part, but there were not as many as I think the first like 30 to 40 minutes is just unbelievably funny. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I think you're right. Navigating the plot and tying things up for this absurd movie, what a task.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mine's that there are literally 2 joke setups that they milked that don't go anywhere. And they are so apparent that you could just call it. Like if that was like a call and response like version, like how they have like sing along versions of movies like Frozen. And if I was able to say, didn't do a good job, like just point at the screen, like boo, like those, there were 2 specific sequences of joke setups that did not go where they thought that it was going to go. Yeah. And the audience could feel that. You could feel it in the audience. It wasn't just that maybe half got it, half didn't. Maybe it was a reference for the joke setup. Those were painful to get through because I was like, oh no, they can't get it. They just can't land this. And I wanted to get out of there as fast as possible for those. But that's it.
It's hard, man. It's such an art form.
Yeah.
You know, like to set people up and get people on the same wavelength as you in a comedy. So hard, especially in a vacuum. I mean, like you have to do so many test screenings and things like that, and you got to hope that those people mirror what the general public is going to feel like.
Right. Now it's time, Cam, where we put a nice, pretty little bow on The Naked Gun 2025 reboot. Tell us your last looks. I'm going to talk like Liam Neeson.
Very, very intense. I'm getting a little nervous. No, I'm happy that this exists is what I will say. I'm happy that this exists. It's like I said earlier, not something that I thought would exist. And how great is it to be seeing a theatrical release of a pure comedy in 2025? Like we just don't get a lot of that anymore. But I'm getting some hope that maybe comedies will come back in some way, shape, or form. We had Friendship earlier this year with Tim Robinson, which is just a straight up comedy, and this is a straight up comedy. And maybe we'll get back to rediscovering that art. I think it's a necessary art form and one that's really fun to enjoy in theaters with the crowd. But this is a Naked Gun movie, and it's a good one. I think Naked Gun for me has always been like a 3.5 out of 5 kind of series. Like I enjoy watching it. It doesn't blow my mind. It makes me giggle for quite a while, and I'm thankful for that. And I think that they're, I would recommend them to somebody who's looking for a true comedy, but they're never going to be movies that are like my favorites of the year or anything like that. They're just like exactly what you want them to be. It's a nice visit and you move on. They don't lurk in your mind. The bits don't necessarily stick with you forever, and it just kind of goes. So that's, to me, is not a bad thing. I think it's just a perfectly good film. And so for me, it's a 7.1 out of 10.
Beautiful. 7.1 out of 10. I heard someone, as they were chatting outside of the theater, they said, the jokes, they made it work 75% of the time. So that's, you're about the, if you were judging just by jokes, you're right there. It was not Cam. I just want to point that out.
It was not me.
It was a total stranger. But this really got me. I thought that this was absolutely fantastic. I thought that this was really well structured. I thought that the plot, you have to do those plot things at the end, like we said, but I really thought that it was basic enough and stupid enough, but not totally out of left field where it's like, what are we doing? You're just looking for a vessel to get these jokes in. I really thought that all of it made sense. I loved the couple of the cameos that they put in there. You'll see Priscilla Presley, blink and you miss her, in this film, which is a great, fantastic nod for her. And I really had such a good time with this. I don't know that I'll change this score in the future. Maybe I will. But my score is very high, and I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. That's right.
That's big time.
Comedy is hard, and they do comedy very well. This movie does.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed.
No, that's fair. And I think it's one of those things too, where like, if you're somebody who is a comedy lover, and I know that you are, like, this is perfect for you. It just is. So that's awesome. I'm happy for you. Love that you loved it. I think a lot of people in the theater really loved it. There were many times of riotous laughter in a completely full theater. Which, like I said, that is just so fun. I think we got to get back to having comedies and horror obviously is in a really good spot. That's good. These are the types of genres that are just great to experience in a crowd, because there's a real energy in the air, and that's what it's all about.
It's a funny thought. Like, I can't imagine someone was not laughing in there, but like, think of like a totally packed crowd, like one guy just like, this is terrible.
I bet there was one guy in there who didn't crack a smile,
like,
because those guys.
He expected a full action movie. He thought this was going to be Nonstop 2 with Liam Neeson, and was completely blindsided by this.
I do almost wish that they just marketed this thing straight as an arrow. Market it as like a total action movie.
Yeah.
Like, don't just because, like, I don't think Gen Z has had any exposure to the Naked Gun really at all. Maybe not. And it would be funny to see some people just caught totally off guard.
See, I love that idea of marketing, of like a totally blind, like the opposite of what the movie is. I think that's fantastic. But studios and marketing teams will never allow it to happen.
No.
I remember Ryan Reynolds saying that they wanted to release as a surprise Deadpool and Wolverine under a different name, like a week before the real release date. And I said, yes, why can't we do that? And they just dropped the ball.
It's one of those things. It's going to take somebody with the guts to do it one time, and it'll be awesome if they do it. But then you'll never be able to do it again.
It's those
cats out of
cinematic
the bag.
And they could have done that with something like this, like exactly as you said, kind of like, like when Clue was released at theaters, they had four to five different endings that they released differently in different theaters. So when people came to talk about it, they were all talking about different endings.
Still the coolest thing maybe ever.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yes. And I feel like we're so close to another cinematic event like that. Someone's brewing something. I don't know when it's going to happen.
They got to do it.
But be on the lookout for it. But that is the end of our runtime for today's spoiler-free episode of The Naked Gun. Go check it out. It's in theaters coming Friday, right?
That's right, August 1st.
Leslie Nielsen, Pamela Anderson, Paul, Walter Hauser, everyone.
Liam Neeson.
What did I say?
You said Leslie Nielsen. Rest in peace.
Oh, gosh.
You're doing the thing.
They brought him back with AI.
No, they did it on purpose.
Man, they got me.
They got you.
I done been got.
Gotcha.
So you can find all of our visual content on YouTube and most of any kind of social media platform, all of our audio content, wherever you listen to podcasts. Hopefully you're listening right now. And you can find all of our visual, audio, and written content on our website, popcorn4breakfast.com. That's popcorn4breakfast.com. And if you're willing and able, heart, subscribe, follow, anything you can to help us one day monetize, please, this channel. That's our only goal, just to get some money so we can be in Cam's basement forever. And special thanks to Ryan Spriggs and the band Rhetoric for all of our music. Ryan Spriggs is our executive producer, and to the St. Louis Area Smoothie Kings, our title sponsor. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time in our next movie.